So the first things that you want to do when you get started with your Shopatech store, you have already licensed the product and you've already updated your affiliate settings. So I'm assuming that those two steps are done and you're basically at your dashboard. So your store is empty. And so the question is, how do you get started quick? What are the things that you need to do just to jump in and get it going? My recommendation is that you actually think about what you want your store to have. It might sound silly, but you want to make sure that you have a very clear idea about whether you're making a niche store or whether you're making a superstore or whatever it is that you're going to do. And the first step in doing that is determine what product categories that you want to include. Now, to do this, you can go to Amazon. This is one way to do it. And if you were to go over to Amazon, you can actually go in and search, and they will show you all the categories they use. So this will give you a very good idea. If you go over here, you could shop by department, and this is a good way to get ideas for the different categories that you want to use. You could use any of these categories. The other thing is, if you click on any of these or roll over them, you'll see it opens up on the right. There are some subcategories as well. And so you want to choose what your store is going to look like, because if you think it through first before you actually create it, you'll end up doing a lot less work. It'll be a lot less going back and making changes afterward. Think about the categories you want. Think about the subcategories that you want. And that is the first step really in setting up your store before you just start adding products randomly and things like that. So once you have a good idea for what you want to do, then you want to come back to your store and you want to go to catalog and you want to go to categories. This is the first step in creating your store, because the reason you want the categories first is when you go to import the products, it will allow you to choose the category those products are going to go into. But if you haven't created your categories yet, it's just going to import all the products and then you have to go back and change them later. So just take my word for it, it's going to save you a lot of time. So to create categories, you just go into the categories section and then you click on the plus and you can go ahead and enter the category name. You can add a description if you want, but that won't appear anywhere on your store. The meta tag title, you're usually just going to use the same thing as your category name. And this is useful because this is going to get you search engine rankings. And you can also put in a meta tag description and keywords if you want to as well. But the only things that are required are the category name and the title. Then you're going to click on the data tab. And if it's a subcategory, you're going to fill in the parent category here. You just start typing the name of the category and it auto completes. So then you just choose the one you want and that's where it will appear. If it's a top category, you don't need to select this. Filters you could just leave. You're going to keep that checked. The SEO keyword, again, I name this the same as my category, but you can choose to do what you want. If you want it to appear in the top menu as a menu item, you check this box. If you leave that unchecked, even if it's a parent category, it will not appear. Leave the columns at 1, and then the sort order is the order that your categories are going to appear in your store left to right. So the lower the sort order, if I have 0, this is going to be the category that appears all the way on the left on my menu. If I put in a 9 or whatever, it's going to appear all the way on the right. All right, and so you can enter the sort order, and then all you have to do is click the save button and it will save that category. And you're going to repeat that process for all the categories and subcategories that you want, and then we'll get into actually adding products and things like that. Now, the second thing that you can do in terms of the quick start, if you want to, if you already know what you're going to include for brands, it makes a lot of sense to do this before you add products too. I know you're excited and want to get the products added to your store, but it will save you a lot of time and effort later. And the process for brands is exactly the same as categories. You click on the plus, then you're going to enter the brand name, and you can enter an SEO keyword for the brand. So I just use the same name for the brand and for the keyword, and then you click save, and it will create a complete list of brands. If you leave the sort order blank, okay, sort order allows you again to force the order of the category of the brands that you choose. And so again, the lower the number in the sort order, 0 being the lowest, the higher on the list of brands it will appear. If you leave sort order blank, it will automatically sort your brands alphabetically. Okay, so all the A's will come first, and then the B's, and then the C's, and so on. And so that is all you need to do to create your categories and brands, and then you've got a good structure for your store. We'll talk about how to add the products and everything else next.